freaking scientists. They're the same thing. You can't have facts without science. And here
Yep.
we are believing in these niggas because they trying to. They, if you listen to what people be saying, or in this case, this type of stuff, they'll be talking to you and saying this
Mhm.
a bunch of the same thing, but using different words to say the same thing.
That's it. That's it.
Like science
Yep.
is facts.
That's
So
that
how you
smart
gonna
dumb.
believe in science and the facts? Nigga, you believing in science then. It's just like,
Do you think they try to dumb it down for us though?
man,
Mm.
no, see, no, they don't try to dumb it
Yeah.
down for
Yeah.
us. They dumb it down for us. Like they doing that to us purposely. Like I said, we get drip fed retardation through the education system.
Yeah. And they just telling us what they want us to know.
Period.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly. And nobody
Mm.
else is like when you and we teach like my son he had, I think he said he had this was in AP Gov, which is what history back in our day, isn't
Right.
it? I think
Mm-hmm.
so. He
Yeah.
had
Oh wow.
yeah, he had that, and they were talking about economics and stuff like that, and he was, man, what? I wish I knew what he was saying, what I could remember what he said. But anywho, I told him like when he was saying, I was like, yeah, man, that's it. That stuff can happen, but I feel like you gotta think about the world that you're living in, which is not what they're teaching us in school.
Right.
Like they teach us the first of all, they teach us the basics. If you can count to
Right.
10, you can count to 100. If you count to 100, you know math.
Right.
It's like you know
Mm.
math, and everything else is just a whole bunch of nothing to
Mhm.
act like something is being done. So I was like, dude, you got to think about what the world you're living in. Yes. Oh, that's what it is. It's something about economics where if you was to how to raise taxes for things to get done and all this, I'm like, dude, no, raising taxes is never the option. That's some BS that they teach you. Huh?
I feel like I feel like a lot of this scientific like proven stuff is just a hypothesis. They're trying they giving you
Absolutely.
what as an estimated guess on what you or what they think could happen in the future or what they think possibly could happen. That's a scientific and
Mm-hmm.
it's also say a scientific guess. You're guessing what it could happen. So
Right.
people got to understand that part too because we don't know. Like a lot of times they remember when COVID happened they anticipated the world by 20, but I think by now we should have lost half the population. So it's a scientific guess of what's going to happen. So that's what people got to realize too that a
Mm-hmm.
lot of this right here is not an accurate like depiction of what's going on.
Yeah. And that's
Right. I agree.
part of what I told my son, like, dude, this is the world you live in. You live in a world where you can't afford taxes raised. You can afford taxes raised. They can, but they're not the ones paying.
Of course.
So in the world that you live in, don't ever bring up making the taxes rise because yes, what you're saying can happen and will probably happen, but that's the textbook answer. You have to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to think
Right.
outside the box. Think
Mhm.
about what's happening for real, for real. What you're living in now. Does that correlate with what they're teaching you? It's
Mhm.
like, nah, man, you got to think outside the
Yeah,
box.
you got
Yeah, you got the
because a lot of
answer
times,
right, but
but
that's not it.
a
That
a
part.
lot of times they don't think of the cause and effect of what's going on with the actions. Like you said, a lot of times they don't see okay. They see one side like yeah maybe we raise the taxes we can save the money to do this and the third, but they don't understand that the economic downfall we're gonna have, the fact is we losing a lot more pay, and the thing is they're not paying us as much as they raising the shit for. Like that's the
That
thing to get
part.
us.
That part.
Yeah,
The cost of
You know what I'm
living is
saying?
high.
inflation is a made up thing.
You
It don't
crazy.
even make
Full, but
sense. It don't even
that bitch
make
is full
sense
blown.
for it don't even make sense for inflation to be a thing that's not evil because it's like why does this become more expensive as if paying more for this is going to grant more of this? It's not. You coming up with a BS, another form of extortion, and we're we have no choice but to abide by it because ain't nobody else going to. We're not gonna collectively come together outside of the 1, 2s, and maybe some 10s somewhere. Like I feel like change ain't gonna happen in the time frame for you to get it. Either you get it or you don't.
Oh, you don't.
I mean, and they got me thinking too. Like you talking about inflation, I'm really thinking about like. Remember back a couple years ago when eggs was fucking high as hell.
Eggs high all outside.
You said a couple days ago.
So and I was thinking, I'm like, it's the same damn chickens shitting out these same eggs that we've been seeing for the last 300 years. Yep. Like, why is all of a sudden we got to pay more money for them?
Talk about it.
Yep. We're paying all this money for this artificial nutrition.
I'm with you.
Like,
I'm with you.
Yeah, so that's just some things I thought about. That was highly hilarious to me. Like, man, we got all this knowledge, and yet ain't nobody talking about how stupid it is for us to have this knowledge. That we shouldn't even be knowing this.
Now I want to see the telescope.
But you know, it made me think about this. You ever heard this? That we know more about the globe in or space than we know about ourselves as human beings, not individually, but as human beings. But I thought about that. I was like, I think we know a vast amount about ourselves. Like they got humans down pat, which is why we're able to be as mesmerized as we are. It's kind of like, I got this phrase I made up called aware of your own. I don't even know if I made it up, but I like it, and I ain't heard nobody else say it ever in life. So I'm coining it mine.
Well, you about to say it now, so somebody else gonna say it now.
It's been said on several episodes. Aware of your own delusion. Like I think we are aware of our own delusion. Like we know that this is gonna kill us.
It was a white man named John that said it.
Oh, you know what?
Man.
It probably was John, but then I did a little bit of more research. Turns out John got it from me.
He said, it probably was John.
You know how my man who warned the British was coming, but it turns out it wasn't an old dude, really. He took that from somebody else and told him to go run away. It was really old Jimmy who said the British was coming, but Billy Bob just took the credit for it. It's kind of like the whole thing about Uncle Tom too. They said about the new information about Uncle Tom, like Uncle Tom wasn't the Uncle Tom that we claim him to be. He was an upstanding cat. He just got framed of being an Uncle Tom.
Let me tell you this, Ray. I'm gonna say this, Ray, too. And now I'm just gonna end it. I'm just gonna end it like this, Ray. I'm not gonna say nothing else. We don't know this shit. Nobody was there. We don't know what the hell happened. We can't say who did what, who did Uncle Tom. First of all, Uncle Tom gonna always be Uncle Tom. But my thing is, we can't say which nigga was out there with these niggas. I don't know. But I'm just
we have to relearn absolutely everything that we've been taught in life. And I think that's the aware of our own delusion that we're in. I think that's where it stems from. The fact that we have to be taught absolutely everything all over again. And I ain't necessarily mean like taught in depthly, but I'm saying basically saying take a second look at every single thing that you were taught. Even if 2 + 2 is 4, take a second look at that.
But it's not that we got to get taught over. It's that we weren't taught at all. That's the problem. We weren't.
Yeah, same thing.
I can't trust this day and age viewpoint of like race or religion or whatever, because I feel like nowadays it's everybody have a certain lane they want you to try to go to. So they're gonna tell you, they're gonna make it seem like, for example, like you just said with Uncle Tom's situation. We always knew this story as one way, but we try to make it seem like slavery wasn't that bad. He wasn't a bad guy. Like I feel like the way it's been taught nowadays is to eliminate whatever it is. So the objective of whatever they got coming is going to happen. And we make you blind. If we make you blind, you can't see what we're doing.
And if we correct all the stuff that we were throwed up on and what they was taught, and we just narrowed it and put it somewhere else, then they're gonna start believing this, and so we can still do what we need to do over here while they believe in the new shit that we don't put out.
That part.
That's how history was made. It was literally written that way. Our beliefs, or a mass number of belief, is saying white people are the ones who wrote history. Now, again, even though we view white as this evil thing that comes from history. White people have written themselves to be the niggas in history, but yet we are still niggas in history for some reason. All what we call niggerdom, all the niggerdom that we call, that's all in history, and it's all white people doing the niggerdom. It's rare to any, if I can recall off the top of my head, that you ever heard any niggerdom of black people. And I'm not counting gang violence. I ain't even counting that. I'm not counting that because that's just where we are. You know, it's bound to have crime where you are because crime is everywhere. I'm not even counting that. That's that white BS that they try to do godly persuasion and try to put stuff on people. But history tells you that everything that white is doing now has already been done. Like, these niggas is trying to rewrite history again, using the same exact tactics that history has already said that they have used already. Exactly. And we just allowing this jump. We just allowing it to happen. It's like, it's not a brand new thing. It's right there in history.
But that's what I said. That's what I'm saying. And I've always said this right here, that history got a way of repeating itself. But what they're doing is
only slavery. All that other junk, I think it's kind of like something else. My bad.
I mean, it's not. I don't feel like it's a coincidence, but my thing is, I do feel like the difference between then and now is they try to put it in a way that you don't see it coming. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. For example,
I
guess. Here's what they okay, but here's what I'm saying.
I don't see that. I say this right there. I say it right there in front of our faces. Like Trump, for instance, Trump, like this nigga has said that in front of the whole congregation that was right there. I can go out here and just kill X number of y'all and still become president. This nigga became president, and on the fact that this nigga even having a trial period shows how the justice system is a game. It shouldn't even need a trial. It should, hey, we got Trump, now this nigga in lockup. That's how it should be, because all the evidence is his whole entire run on as a president. It's on camera, it's on audio, it's on anything. So you don't need a trial for this nigga.
But that's a privilege thing. That's more of a privilege over anything else, because I feel that they already had it planned on who was going to win. They already knew what was going to happen. Blah blah blah. Like I said, let's be real. If this was the 1980s when Trump first ran for president, they knew back then this nigga ain't talking about shit. So they had to go to a new generation where they can blindly fool the people. And he was a person that was easy to blindly fool. They were like, okay, this new generation is all preoccupied with fame and all preoccupied with fortune. We gonna get a man who got fame and fortune, even though his stands are dumb as hell. We're gonna put him out there. But it's like I said, it's the fact that they want to blind you to bring something in. If you do your research, you've seen Trump policies back in the 80s versus now. He had different viewpoints. Do your research, but they didn't want to do that. They want to try to eliminate that history part to bring this new person in, to bring you in there and tell you, okay, well, he always been this way. He always been like this. But you got to go back and do your research. They trying to eliminate the research.
But you don't have to believe in research though. This nigga's white.
I don't talk about politics. I don't give a fuck about the presidents. But I just wanted to say, like, Ply said one thing though, when they found Trump guilty of all counts or whatever, he was like, this man, they find him guilty, but they still gonna allow him to be the president. So us as Black people, that's felons. Let's change the narrative. The next time they have the thing go up for the vote for president, put y'all name on that ballot. I bet they motherfucking change some rules real quick.
I guess it'll change the ballots, but voting is, I don't believe it counts for anything anyway. They have a third party. They have a third party. When you put that ballot in the machine, talking about it counts, it doesn't count at the time. They have a third party that's obligated to place a vote, but it's not obligated to place a vote for who you voted for. So basically, these niggas is supposedly changing votes legally or the bylaws of it. So again, voting, and then on top of that, when we vote, we're voting for supremacy or we're voting for liberties to be held at bay. So both of them niggas is racist. And there's no lesser evils. It's both niggas racist. It's like one is in your face telling you, yeah, we don't like this and we're going to do this. And hey, what the heck, nigga. just throwing it out there just for fun.